Around the start of World War II, the British Air Ministry put out tenders for a requirement for an air observation post aircraft under the specification F-140. And this episode was originally going to be just about the General Aircraft Limited GAL.47, but as I researched I found out more about other GAL aircraft that were suggested for this role, and various other aircraft types that were also considered. So we'll start with the Mars M38 Messenger. The prototype was converted from a Mars M28 Mercury. Army officers put it forward for informal tests by the Aerial Observation Post Squadron. They declared it a success, and it met all the Army's requirements. Job done. Well, not quite. The Ministry of Aircraft Production had not been consulted. They reprimanded George Miles for failing to seek the Ministry's permission before rebuilding the aircraft. Miles had also gone ahead with no government permission with the Aerovan development, and that's another aircraft I've covered in a previous episode. So no orders for the M38 were placed for the Aerial Observation Post role. The other aircraft looked at and tested were the Stinson 105 Voyager and the Obscura Skeldermoose, plus the Arpin A1 and Thane F-140 that I've covered in previous episodes. The GAL aircraft that were considered, I will go into their details shortly. The favoured aircraft after all the aircraft tests was the Stinson 049 Vigilant. As early as July 1940, 100 were ordered and only 20 were shipped in the first year. Paperwork costs, red tape and delivery times became an issue, so that option was scrapped. Going back to the beginning, one of the first aircraft they tested was the Taylorcraft Auster. They dismissed it, but in the end they did a U-turn and selected it. The Taylorcraft Auster was a very capable aircraft, and with modification it was ideal for the role, and it proved itself during the war. Interestingly, the AOP requirement surfaced again after the war, and the Auster beat the competition yet again. So on with the subject matter. The General Aircraft Limited GAL.33 Cagnet was a British light trainer aircraft. It is also being considered for the Civil Air Guard and as a trainer for air observation post flying. It was a two-seater pusher propeller aircraft. The side-by-side seating was in an open cockpit just ahead of the strut-mounted inline engine. The low gull-shaped cantilever wings with twin booms mounted one at each wing's bend point. A horizontal stabiliser and elevator ran between the twin fins with rudders, one at each end of the boom. It first flew in 1939 with the serial number Tango 46. It was then tested as an air observation post trainer by the Royal School of Army Corporation from February the 5th, 1940, and now with the serial number Whiskey 7646. And after that is returned to GAL on June the 13th, 1940, and used for other test flying, with the serial number now of Tango 0223. And its final flight was in 1941, and I guess after that it was scrapped. The GAL.45 Owlet was a single-engine trainer aircraft built by General Aircraft Limited at London Park, Hanworth. The Owlet was a training version of the Cygnet II, built with the aim of producing a cheap primary trainer for the Royal Air Force. The Cygnet II itself was also briefly considered for air observation post operations. The Owlet's main difference was the modified fuselage with the tandem open cockpits, and the Cygnet had an enclosed cockpit with side-by-side seating. The same outboard wing panels were used, but due to the narrow fuselage the wingspan was reduced by 24 inches. The Owlet prototype with registration Golf Alpha Golf Bravo Kilo first flew on September the 5th, 1940. It didn't attract any orders, but was impressed into RAF service on May the 1st, 1941, with the serial number Delta Papa 240. It was first of its kind with the tricycle undercarriage, and used as a trainer for the Douglas Boston, and this is along with other standard Cygnets being used. The only example got into trouble during aerobatics on August the 30th, 1942, and nosedived into the ground at Warning Camp near Arundel, Essex, sadly killing pilot officer Geoffrey McFarlane, aged 19, and pilot officer Thomas Anthony Dunphy, aged 20. The GAL.47 was of metal and wood construction, and it looked like it was made from various discarded aircraft parts. It was powered by a Blackburn Cirrus Minor 90 horsepower engine with a pusher air screw. Again, only one example was built in 1940 and first flew at London Air Park, Hanworth. It carried B conditions identity experimental markings with the registrations Tango 47 and then Tango 0224. The civil registration Golf Alpha Golf Bravo Lima was never used, and no C of A was ever issued. What it got up to for a couple of years after its first flight during the war, I don't know. It ended up being destroyed in an accident of some sort on April the 2nd, 1942. I hope you enjoyed that. Please like, share and subscribe. Any comments are always welcome. And a quick shout out to John Dinger Dell, who sent me some stuff to help me make this episode. He runs a great website and a link to it is in this episode's description. And thanks for watching.